Hey, what's up? I'm Kris from Vulvodynia. We're on Tech Trek 5 right now with Archspire, Entheos, Inferi, and my band. I'm here today to talk to you about the things I play, I guess. Let's start with the guitar. I play an Ormsby guitar. They're a company out of Australia. And this is the Goliath model. It's a production model. You can probably get one. I actually have a signature guitar that's very similar to this that you could go and pre-order right now. It's in pink. You'll see in a bit that pink's my favorite color. I've got the pink strap going on. I've actually sewed it a bit higher than normal, as you can see, because I do all this weird tappy, stretchy stuff that requires me to play guitar like a complete nerd. Which is fine, I am a nerd, so whatever. So how I got into playing Ormsby was I had a friend in South Africa that got one and I'd never played them before. And I was looking at getting into 8-string guitars. We were playing 7s for a while, and then I was looking for an 8-string, and I didn't want to just get anything, you know, because I feel like when you're playing such a beast, you need it to be right, and you don't want it to be hard to play. You want it to just feel the way it's supposed to, and I think this guitar does all of that. And the first time I played an Ormsby, I felt that. Fast forward a bit, I ordered one, and I started playing all my shows with it, going on tour with Ormsby, the one Ormsby guitar I had, and I just started trying to get in contact with them and was like, guys, I'm playing your guitars like all over the world, maybe we can work together on stuff, because I talk to people about your guitars every night. And it actually was in the beginning hard to get them to get in touch with them, but after I did, Perry hit me up instantly, the Perry Ormsby, the owner of the company, and he was just like, no, you're on board 100%, we've been watching you for a while. Then I was like, yes, I finally made contact. But it's been a very amazing relationship since then. Like I said, they're giving me a signature guitar now that was released a few months ago on pre-order. Totally pink. The only differences to this guitar would be I got rid of the tone knob because I never use it in the style of music we play. I want the brightest, most cutting tone possible. It's going to have a 5-way switch, but the volume's going to be where the tone is, and the tone is completely gone. I love this setup, but I think less is more when you're in a live situation and you're just trying to get your job done and you don't want anything to go wrong. I think less electronics, less chance of electronics getting dirty or starting to make a noise or getting in the way of your overall tone. I've actually got a Wenge neck that's going to be on this guitar. This is maple. I'm a huge fan of maple because it twangs super hard, and I'm looking for my guitars to sound like a Strat at the end of the day. I want them to twang but still be playable as an 8-string, and it needs to have the single coil vibes going on, whether it's a 5-way switch or this push-pull system, because we do the whole thump technique and all of that, and that requires me to have a very percussive, twangy tone again. And our solos are also very clean, like tonally, they're not very distorted, and we're going for quite a almost like a fusion guitar sound, or just a modern guitar player type of sound, I guess. We're very influenced by bands like Polyphia and Animals as Leaders and Chun and, you know, all these math rock bands as well. And I'm influenced by guys like Guthrie Govan, and even all the way back to the tone like Stevie Ray Vaughan had. For me, that's the ultimate guitar tone, and if we can do that in metal, it's something different and cool, I feel. So we really wanted to do that with the new album. Back to our sound again. This pickup, the Hot Rock, has become, it's an Ormsby pickup. It's become a huge part of my sound. If you listen to our new album, you can hear the guitars sound like jang, 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 jang. And that's a mixture of this pickup, the tones I'm using, and the technique we're using to play. We palm mute a bit harder and play double power chords everywhere we can, down pick everywhere we can, and get the heavier sound that way. We use Ernie ball strings, so this pack in particular is what we're using on this tour. Sometimes we use the 10 to 74, but we really like the 9 to 80 because it just allows you to have a really easy time playing the leads. But then because we're tuning this to E, it's quite low and you don't want too much slack on the string, so the 80 really compensates for that. But the whole multi-scale system of the fan fret is a huge reason why we play these, because it gives each string the right amount of tension, especially when you're drop tuning and stuff on an already extended range guitar. It can become a nightmare, but this system really makes sense for us and really works. These are like the two top strings of a bass guitar, standard bass. It's E and A, and then you have a standard guitar from here, so it's just your normal E, A, D, G, B, E. So the thought process behind this was just, it's like having your guitar in a drop tuning, which works super well for these, we call it the chomp, that's that sound, that chang chang sound I was talking about earlier. Works super well because you can just double up power chords like that. And you can still play regular power chords here, and all your theory just stays the same, because if you've learnt all your shapes on the E and A, you just double it onto this E and A. And our bassist actually tunes a whole octave lower than this E. And yeah, it's kind of nonsensical, but we saw Periphery doing stuff like that and we were like, why not? You know, like why can't we do that? So it's a vibe, it sounds heavy. So this pickup is the De La Creme, and in my signature guitar I've changed it out to be the PVH, which is the same pickup in my custom shop Wasteland Genesis that Perry gifted to me, which is my favorite guitar. So I was like, I love that neck pickup, I'm just going to try it out in the H string because it sounds so smooth and it's got like this single coil vibe without it even being a single coil. So I really enjoyed that. And you know, we use a lot of combinations. Like for thumping, I definitely use both of the pickups at once and split it, and that's how we get the tone. But it's a lot to do with how I craft the tone in my Kemper too. So I think let's move on to my amp, which is this fancy thing over here. It looks kind of like a alien toaster or spaceship, I don't know, but what I've learned is the best thing to do now is take amps. I had one day or a couple days where I found every sick amp in South Africa I could, like metal amp, and I profiled them all. But the funny thing is the profiles I'm using are from my Plexi, my personal one that I own. It's like this Malmsteen, the YJM Plexi, and I can make amps honestly sound better through my Kemper than they do in real life. I know there's a huge thing, does the Kemper sound better, or does it sound as good as real amps? I think you can make it sound better if you know what you're doing, because you can put EQs before the amp, EQs after the amp. You can add a bit of compression if you want. I usually put a tube screamer first, of course. But I feel like with the EQs before and after, I can really tweak my tone to what I'm looking for. It's a lot of upper mids and high end I'm boosting to get that real chompy sound to come out, but you have to be careful live because too much high end can bring in extra noise and feedback. So you have to kind of tweak your tones to work for studio and live. But like I said, my main rhythm tone is my Plexi, my thump tone is also my Plexi, and the lead tone I'm using is actually not one of my profiles. It's from a good friend of mine, Francesco. He did the GGD profiles for Get Good Drums, and there's a BE 100 on there, and my tone was a bit too noisy for live, so I switched it out for that one, and it's been working amazing. There's not too much fancy stuff going on besides the EQs and before and after the amp. I've got a bit of reverb and delay for my leads. On my thump tone, I've got a DI blended in, and there's a lot of compression going on, and very specific EQ to get that percussive sound. I'm just, you know, boosting whatever sounds good to my ear to get that thing I'm looking for. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I've got a speaker cable here, and it goes out into a Mesa cab, 4x12, just for monitoring for me and people in the front row. But the cab isn't being mic'd up, everything's lined out straight out of the Kemper, and that's how we do it. Wendila, our other guitarist, uses a quad Cortex with the same setup. just cab for stage, and then it's all lined out, which is cool about this because it means your tone can stay consistent every night, especially when you're touring with your own sound guy. Shout out Marshall, he's the best. He knows what everything's supposed to sound like. He's got presets already, and sound check goes very quickly, and it's awesome. So this is my fly rig, because I can literally put this in a backpack. This can go in like my under carry bag, I guess, if that's what you call it. This is just a MIDI foot switch that controls my presets here. I've got my rhythm here, lead here, thump here, and then a clean for when we play the one song that has a clean bit. And that's all I use this for. I actually have another pedal, but it's the Behringer one with the Kemper chip in it, which I usually use, but when I got to America the voltage was wrong, so I had to buy another one, and this one honestly has been working like a charm. I think the response is actually better than my other one. So I don't have the actual Kemper pedal, which would be amazing, but this is doing the trick. And that just plugs into here with a MIDI cable. I just use a Planet Waves MIDI cable. It's very good. But my favorite cables in the world are Happy cables, because I can have them in pink, and they're the best quality you can possibly get. And I'm just so stoked to be working with these guys, because I can play fancier cables than I usually do and look cool while doing it, you know? I wish I could play wireless, but it just doesn't make sense for us right now, and Happy Cable has really made it a fun time with my pink cable over here. We've all got like luminous cables on stage. I'm sure you'll see later, but it's the best. Luminous colors everywhere, as you can see. These are Swiss picks. This is what I use. Pink being my favorite, of course, again. They come in all different colors, and they've got these little holes in them. Let me see if I can show you one up close. They look like Swiss cheese, hence the name Swiss picks. But they're actually from America, so they're based in Arizona and LA, I guess. And this is what they look like. This one glows in the dark. I really like this one too. These are the Jason Becker model. They're pretty cool. Got a slightly different material. I tried a whole bunch of different picks of theirs, and I've landed on these ones as being my favorite, the 1.3. They don't bend, but they're not too thick, and it's got that, you know, the sharpness and the brightness you want out of a pick. If you drop it on the floor, you can hear it's a very resonant, bright pick, and that's what I'm looking for. It really helps with what we do and the tone we're going for. Like I said earlier, twang is my thing, or twang is my thing, and this really helps us get there. Thank you for nerding out with me a bit and checking out my gear. So if you want to check us out in the future, follow our Facebook page, which is Vulvodynia, Facebook.com/Vulvodynia Slam. On Instagram, it's the same thing, at Vulvodynia Slam. And if you want to get in touch and email us and book us in your city, vulvodyniaslam@gmail.com. And yeah, Vulvodynia Official on YouTube, that's the different one. So don't forget about that. Keep up to date with our social media to see where we're playing next. And keep an eye out for anything we have in the works in the future. There's lots of plans, so yeah. Hope to see you guys at another show. Hope to read your comments on this video. But until next time,